thank you, 3 people. And she realized that apparently this fair is not real far from Columbus. So, haha, yay my side. Also, yay her boyfriend's side. That's a whole other story. Thank you, one person. This is Bodie, everybody. Go ahead and say hello to Bodie. Now, one of the questions that I get asked quite a bit when people walk by my display is that they always ask me, how come the birds don't have hoods on? This is a hood, this little thing he has on his head, all right? I usually do not use hoods on my birds because most of my birds get trained at Renaissance festivals. Renaissance festivals have a tendency to create bulletproof birds because they are very, very stimulating. Also, known as weird. All right, so the really, really good part, good times, all right. So, as I said before, Bodie is a falcon. He is actually an African lanner falcon. Now, there is a falcon that I get asked about all the time. People try to tell me that this bird is one of those falcons. How many of you have ever heard of a peregrine falcon? Yeah, I was expecting a lot more hands in the air because it seems like everybody knows about peregrine falcons. Now, peregrines are famous in this country for 2 main reasons. One, they almost became what? Extinct. Exactly. Now, there's a saying, if you see a peregrine falcon, thank a falconer. And the main reason for that is that when they realized that there was a problem, there were a lot of us falconers that had peregrines in captivity for the sport of falconry. We gave up those birds for captive breeding projects, and the peregrine falcon came off the endangered species list in the year 2000 as a success. The other reason the peregrine falcon is so famous is that it is the fastest animal on Earth. It can achieve speeds of well over 200 miles an hour. Now, African lanner falcons are my favorite falcons on the planet for 2 main reasons. One, their personality. These guys are very, very even-tempered, and they train very, very quickly. The other reason is that these guys can do something the peregrine falcon cannot, and that is fly in completely dead air. You might have heard the phrase that falcons are masters of the wind. That's very true. But a lot of the other falcons need that wind to be able to do their job. That's one of the main reasons that I don't fly a peregrine in my show, because a lot of places, wind is variable. It comes and it goes. This bird can fly in absolutely still air as well as he can on a super, super windy day. This bird has been clocked at speeds of back in the show because, fun fact about this place, it's awesome. The other good part is that having been a jouster for 17 years, I'm really, really good friends with the guy that owns that joust company, so it works out good. I can pretty much go probably wherever I want in that field. He's not going to yell at me. So, now, this guy, like I said, hasn't been in the show for a while, so all I want to do with him here today is just kind of expose him to the crowd and also kind of give him a little bit of exercise. Falcons can fly in straight lines very, very easily. They don't need a whole lot of work. There he is. Give him a big giant round of applause. But up and down, straight up and down, is actually very, very hard. It's kind of like a Stairmaster for a bird of prey, right? So vertical jumps work really, really well for a bird like this to get him back in shape. And in the bird of prey world, when it comes to falcons, females are up to 2/3 larger than their male counterparts. We're going to talk a little bit more about that at my 3:30 show. Now, as I said before, African lanner falcons can fly in completely dead air. So in my mind, that right there makes these guys a little bit more desirable than the peregrine, because as I said before, the peregrine actually needs wind to be able to do their job. Now, the other reason that I don't use peregrines in my show is that it takes a tremendous amount of space to be able to fly a peregrine well. Also, peregrine is a Gaelic word. It means wanderer.
You see the guys with the falcon?
And they will, right? Knock on wood. In the, I don't even know how long I've been a falconer now, 40 some odd years. I've never lost a bird permanently. I'm not bragging about it, it just means my time hasn't come yet. All right? This little guy, actually my sister and I were just talking about this. This little guy, one of the last times I flew him down there in the far off kingdom known as Florida, thank you 2 people. He did go on a little field trip. He ended up actually on the campus of USF, about 2 miles away we figured. And when I found him, there was a whole little gaggle of college students sitting around with their guitars, and to which I replied, yeah. So, he's doing very well. Let's give him a big giant round of applause. There we go. All right. And also, here we go. Here's the other part of my family little deal here today. This is my son, Aiden. Give Aiden a big giant round of applause. Birds with no feathers on their heads that eat that stuff. Welcome to America. Yeah, the term buzzard has been misappropriately attached to the vulture in this country since the middle 1700s. Buzzard is a slang term for what this guy is. He is a buteo. The buteos are the war machines of the bird of prey world. They have very, very large feet, big broad bodies, and giant meat hooks for beaks. You'll probably know another type of buteo. How many of you guys have ever heard of a bird called the redtail?
Yeah.
How many of you know that bird has the red-tailed hawk? Yeah, fun fact, not a hawk at all. It's a buteo just like this. The United States is literally the only country on the planet that prefers to hunt other things with wings. How many of you have a bird feeder at home? How many of you have ever found feathers from the songbirds that eat your bird feeder on the ground under it? Yeah. That means you have a true hawk or an accipider in your neighborhood, probably a Cooper's hawk or a sharp-shinned hawk, something like that. So in fact, it's still actually a bird feeder. Yeah, my mom hates that joke. She laughs at it. A bit of a touchy thing because, as I said, these guys hunt from a soar. It's actually a little bit windy today. This bird weighs a little over a half a pound. Everybody cross your fingers. I don't want to have to go chase this guy today. All right. Now, knock on wood, though, he's been doing very, very well. All right. Augurs are my favorite buteo on the planet. If you've seen one of my shows before, you know that I've had an augur in my show for literally the last 18 years. The last augur I had in my show was a bird called Congo. Congo was in my show for 14 years.
Wow.
He was actually the very first African augur born in this hemisphere. He actually used to fly at a place called Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia. Yeah, and let's just say that there was an incident at one point, and he was deemed aggressive. They pulled him from the show. Walter told me that he would never work at a Renaissance fair. He flew in my show for 14 years. Unfortunately, about 6 years ago, I lost him to West Nile virus. This guy reminds me very much, in some ways, of Congo. So because of that, there's actually a couple things that I really, really like to try to do with this bird. He's actually pretty new to a lot of this stuff, and with this wind picking up, it's going to be a little bit fun. Echo. Now, these guys, like I said before, are my favorite buteo on the planet. And the main reason for that is that these guys are highly intelligent and properly motivated, one of the most aggressive hunters you can ever hunt with. Now, reminding me of Congo, this bird is actually pretty agile. So to show you guys a little bit of that, I'm now going to need the assistance of 4 adult volunteers, 2 of the adult male variety and 2 of the adult female variety. All right? And the really, really fun part about this is that when I call you forth, just come right out here onto the field to me, and we'll take good care of you. Firstly, I'm going to have a little bit of fun. Justin, come here. This is my sister's boyfriend. This is the 3rd time that I met him. Let's have some fun. All right, my darling right there. Come on down. Yep, you. Good sir right there in the black. Thank you. Yeah, oh, Justin, we're going to talk. It'll be fine. Here we go. So they're about 3 feet apart. Echo here, 2-foot wingspan.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I know. Don't applaud. That happened really quickly. Now, do you think he can do better than that?
Yes.
Let me rephrase. Do you want to see Justin in mortal peril?
Yes.
I am technically not allowed to say that I agree with that statement. Yeah. No, we're not going to do that with him. Yeah. So you guys take about my son trying to give me ideas. About a quarter of a step forward. Now, we're all friends here, so shoulder to shoulder, get nice and cozy. There we go. Good.
Mike, what's it go through the paperwork?
Echo.
Oh,
Give him a big round of applause. Now, we are going to try one thing. Or actually, no, we're not. We're not, because I'm out of food. Here we go. Everybody, give him a big giant round of applause one more time. And let's give our volunteers a big giant round of applause. Well done, guys. You can return to your friends.
their fingers are fake, but they aren't. That's where you look. They would call good people.